Right, I thought for a second that I'd lost the recording sock, but I found it, so problem averted. Life is good. Today we are in post-commentary, because I thought I would try like a sort of different style of video where I more, actually talked about a specific topic so that my very imaginative titles are less clickbait, because I felt a bit bad after my video titled British Enunciation got 300 views and it barely talked about British enunciation. So today we are actually going to be talking about a topic, and that topic is pseudoscience, conspiracy theories, all that, and why people believe them. Because I'm a bit of a Google debunker, if you know what that is. And if you don't, then skill issue. But I've been seeing this new conspiracy theory going around lately of the they found some things under the pyramids, or apparently they did, but the evidence is really inconclusive, and it hasn't been I don't know very much about it, but from what I do know, nothing's been published or peer-reviewed about it, so it's really untrustworthy as a citable source. And as someone who doesn't really see the point in academia, doesn't really do much with academia, and certainly isn't at all knowledgeable on archaeology, especially Egyptian, I don't really have a place to talk about the actual theory, apart from all I'm going to say is that you should have conclusive, well-reviewed evidence before you start believing something, if you want to believe in the truth. And that brings us on to why people believe conspiracies. Personally, from my experience of knowing some conspiracy theorists, anti-vaxxers especially, I am part of a middle-aged white thing. Middle-aged? Middle class. I'm not middle-aged. But I live in a middle-class white-dominated town in the UK, and so everyone here's a crackhead. You know what I mean. They're not actual crackheads, they're just a bit wacky. But I've had a lot of experience with anti-vaxxers. There was a pretty big anti-vaxxer nuss here, although loads of pro-vax, because the people are a lot more sane than we give them credit for, I find. But yeah, from my experience, the people who were believing in that conspiracy were predominantly people who don't really have that much to do in life. And I'm not trying to belittle anyone based off any kind of belief, because I think that's wrong. I don't care what that belief is. If you do, then you're not the nicest person who you could be, in my opinion. But they didn't really have all that much to do. I'm pretty sure they were bored. They were decently well educated on most topics, from what I found, and being uneducated and believing in conspiracies is an entirely different thing, because I think at heart these people did know that virus, they knew how viruses worked. They knew that something might be able to cure them, or if they the viruses, or if they thought about it, then they would have said to themselves, maybe there is something that could help with this. And I think a lot of them did. They just didn't want to believe that the thing that had been came up with was going to work. And I think that is, like, they predominantly believed that to make themselves feel less pointless. Because from the way that I perceive life personally as a nihilist, or not necessarily a nihilist, but just someone who doesn't believe in anything higher, we are very pointless. Like, we're just here by accident. There's no reason for us to be here, in my opinion. And I think the anti-vaxxer movement was mainly people trying to be special. Like, I don't mean any of this in any kind of hateful way. Believe what you want, play how you like, as I always say. But I guess they just felt like, you know, we always see portrayed in media, like in television and video games and cartoons and all that, we always see from the eye of the main character, and so we're very used to wanting ourselves to be like those main characters, because the only way that someone can actively and successfully market something is if they make whatever they're marketing relatable to the buyer, or like wanted by the buyer. So it's important for those companies to make media as like accessible to us as possible. And so, having consumed a lot of media, I think the anti-vaxxers wanted to, you know, feel like the main character. If any of what I've said just made sense. This is the end of the game. I haven't recorded any other games. I still have some things to say, but, you know, not enough for me to bother recording another game, because it's late and I don't want to record another one. But yeah, tell me what you thought of this video style, if you want me to do more or less of it, or just anything at all. I might do it. I probably will. I don't have anything else to do. But yeah, thank you for watching. Say your opinions in the comments if you want to. Obviously keep it all respectful of, like, literally everything. Other than BP50 users, you can dunk on them as much as you want. But yeah, thank you for watching. See you next time.